Hey guys, this is Brock with Straight Line Delivery. We specialize in flatbed and hotshot trucks. And I wanted to talk to you guys today about bulletproofing your wallet for financial downturns. Whatever happens to you, whatever happens to the economy happens to you at a certain price range. After a certain amount of money you make, it really doesn't matter. I was thinking about this. This hit me. In my 20s and 30s, I was working for a contractor. I was making a set amount of money. If we worked some overtime, I could make some extra money here and there. But pretty much no matter what I did, my time was worth, my value was this much. I could work a little overtime and make this much money, but I could never really get up there into the stratosphere. And it was funny because I would always be working for what I consider rich people. Now, a lot of them were millionaires, and they were rich people. But some of them just made really good money, and they were comfortable. And they were having us, as contractors, do kitchen upgrades, build the new sheds, dig a pond, like a koi pond. And we're talking about $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 kitchen upgrades, complete new additions onto their houses. And this was back in 2008 to 2012. Before I started this company in 2011, I didn't have anything to do with trucking for a certain period of my life. I just worked as a contractor. And it always blew me away that these guys could spend money like nothing was going on. If you remember in 2008, the housing crisis, you might have had a $150,000 house. Now it's worth $115,000. I always thought about the guys who thought, okay, I'm going to buy this house, I'm going to pay it off, and when I'm 65, I'm going to retire, and I'm going to sell this house for $150,000 or more, and then I'll buy a condo with that money, and I'll own that cash, and I'll have a few 10, 20,000 bucks left over, let's say, and I'll invest that in the stock market. I worked with so many guys in their upper 50s in that time period who that's exactly what their plan was. They had retirement. They had a house that they thought should have been worth, $175,000. Now it's worth $135,000. Their whole retirement plan fell apart because of the economy. And they could only make this much money. They had scrimped and saved their whole lives and been tight, and it's been hard to, get through certain years and certain times because there's just not enough work out there. There's not enough money to be made. So it occurred to me, what's the best way to bulletproof your wallet against financial upset, financial downturns, whether it's the stock market, the economy in general, gas and fuel going up, groceries going up, everything going up, inflation. How do you bulletproof your wallet? Well, get rich. Get rich. That's the best way to bulletproof your wallet. And here's what I mean. I don't mean you have to become a millionaire, although that would be nice. I mean, when I say get rich, I remember when I was making, I think I was making 18 bucks an hour as a carpenter. My bring home pay would be like 650 bucks. So most Saturdays I was working a side job to make a couple hundred extra bucks on the side to make myself, I don't know, $45,000 a year, maybe 50 on a good year. But that was working mostly 6 days a week, and that's as good as it could get. It's not going to get any better than that. Didn't really matter who you worked for either. That's about as good as you were going to do. My wife had a job, so she made decent money, but we were consistently making well under $100,000 for two people. You say, well, a lot of people can live on a lot less than that, and that's true. We did. We had a nice life. Our kids, we raised 2 kids. We had a great time. We did family fun stuff. Money's not everything. But what I noticed is the people I was building homes for, they didn't slow down. They didn't stop buying cars. They didn't stop remodeling their house. Those guys were going to town. They were spending all kinds of money. And in a downturn, they weren't going to make any money. They weren't going to make any money in the stock market or anything else. So that's when they chose to, redo their house. Probably got great deals. But the point is this. If you are making $50, $60, $70,000 a year, and gas or fuel doubles in price, groceries go up 10, 20, 30%, that hurts. Because I remember when gas basically doubled in price, I think it was around 2010 to 2012 time period. I went from driving a pickup truck to my carpentry job to driving my wife's 4-cylinder car to save money, stuffing all my tools in the trunk because it got like 30 miles a gallon. My truck got like 16, so double. That was a way to alleviate some of the pain because I went, basically, it worked out, I think it was $300 a month more in fuel costs for me to drive my truck to work. So back then, another $300 a month, that would have been like a really nice used car payment. Surprise, here's your used car payment. Oh, but you don't get a used car. It's just going up into the ether. It's just money wasted. So that was a real killer because of the amount of money I was making, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year. So when I say get rich, I mean get past the threshold that double-digit increases in inflation don't bother you. How do you do that? Well, the guys that drive for me, straight line delivery, those guys are bringing home $3,000, $4,000 every week. And they work Monday through Friday, and they're off Saturday and Sunday. So inflation, higher fuel prices, isn't killing them. Now, yes, diesel is a lot higher than it was a year ago. But look at it this way. If you were, let's say that freight prices never go up a dime, which they will. But let's just say, for instance, it stays static. Freight prices stay exactly the same. So then you're spending, instead of $600, $700 a week in fuel, you're spending $1,200 to $1,400 a week in fuel. Okay, that's pretty significant. That sounds like a big number. If you're somebody who's used to making $600, $700 a week, that's a massive number. But look at it through this lens. If you never charged your customers another dime for freight because of the fuel increase, you go from bringing home $3,500 a month, or a week, $3,500 a week, and that's after my cut, that's after fuel, that's after you pay insurance, all that stuff. In your pocket, you go from $3,500 to $2,800 bring home. Can you live off $2,800 a week? I can. I think most of America can. Now, doesn't it suck that you're not getting that extra $700, that it's going to diesel fuel that's just burning out your tailpipe? Of course it does. But what can you do? You can quit and go work for $18 an hour somewhere in your hometown and be broke again. Or you can charge your customers a few more bucks. And there's a few weeks that it lags. That's true, because you've got to understand, brokers and customers, they've maybe set some prices. So when the fuel prices spike as quickly as they did here this spring, like with the Russian invasion of now I can't think of it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the reason is. I sound like Joe Biden. My God. When something happens in the economy, whether it's a hurricane, whether it's Russia invading a country, whatever it is, and they jack the gas prices up and the fuel prices up, there is a little bit of lag time between customers paying more for that freight and what the drivers are able to charge. Okay, so there's a few weeks lag time where it's slow to catch up. But would you rather go a few weeks at $2,800 a week instead of $3,500 a week until it catches up? And then once it does, because I lived through 2008 and 2012, and I was in trucking in 2012, I know this: once it goes up and an amount of money is sort of designated for a freight lane, it doesn't come all the way back down to the pre-hiked up prices. It comes down some, but not that much. So if you're in the game long enough, you actually benefit from these unstable situations in the economy where fuel prices shoot way up, everyone panics, everyone starts mass buying, it's expensive to move freight. It never quite comes back down to pre-panic levels. So if you drive long enough, you'll realize gains. If you get through those first couple of weeks, you'll realize gains massively outweigh the first couple of weeks where it's a little bit tough. But it's not really tough, is it? Because if we're talking about a guy who brings home $650, $700 a week and you double his gas bill, that's a big, big portion of his weekly bring home. The extra $300 a week, or I'm sorry, the extra $300 a month that I was paying for gas prices when I was a carpenter, that's a half of a week's bring home pay. That's a major, major chunk of my money. But when you talk about somebody who's bringing home $3,000 to $4,000 every week, well, you double their gas prices, so what? It's a pain and it's wasteful and it's a shame, but it doesn't hurt you. You don't have to decide whether to go on vacation or whether to eat. You don't have to decide which vehicle to drive to the store because you don't have the gas money. You've got your basics covered. I read a study somewhere. It was, I don't remember what it was, but the study cited that after about $175,000, I think that's the right number, about after 175 grand, you don't gain any happiness making more money. You know, below 170, between 100 and 170, I would think, and this isn't from the study, but just my personal living life, you shelter yourself. When you make more than $120,000 a year, you really shelter yourself from some of the hiccups and bumps that come along with life and an inconsistent economy. When you're below 100 or 90,000, 80,000, when you're below that threshold, anything that happens to disrupt your life really, really hurts, especially if you're living kind of paycheck to paycheck. So the best way to, like I said, insulate yourself from those type of things is drive a truck Monday through Friday. And the work is Monday through Friday. I'd rather work hard then and know where I'm going to be and know that Saturday and Sunday I'm off. And not only am I off, but I've got the money to pay somebody else to work on my truck if I want. I've got the money to say, hey, you know what? Don't schedule me the next week. I'm going to Florida to go fishing. That's what I like to do, stuff like that. I can leave anytime I want for a week and it's not going to disrupt my life. How many times have you been in a job where if you were sick or you missed a week, it hurt a lot? It was a big chunk of how you maintain your basic needs. Once you get past basic needs, the rest is all gravy. You can have it's a lot more fun. Money doesn't buy happiness, but money does soothe the stress of somebody who's barely making it in life. If you don't have to worry about your basic needs, if you never have to worry about how much gas you put in your car, you gotta stop right on $25.75 because that's all you have. That's so stressful. Don't live that way. Change your life. Take a big step. If you're not in trucking, call me and I can explain to you how you can get into it and what to realistically expect. And if you are in trucking, you're driving for somebody else and you're still broke and you're working all times you don't want to work and it's not working out, give me a call, ask me some questions. I can guide you in the right direction. Even if you never work for me, I don't want to see anybody suffer out there. So again, main message is, hey, if you don't want to be broke, get rich or get close. Anybody who makes over $120,000 a year doesn't ever have to worry about meeting their basic necessities. That's enough money for you to pay all your bills and have money to boot, take off anytime you want, and live the kind of life you want. So this is Brock with Straight Line Delivery. I hope this message meant something to you. If you've got any questions or comments, you can always call our office line, 937-506-2252, and I'll leave a little message right here where you can reach out to us by email as well. Thanks. Have a good day. Be safe.